Now give me the beat.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my Arma 3 modelling tutorials. Today we're up to part 7. So where we left off in last episode was we created this nice looking kind of dome arch kind of thing. And we just want to kind of work it through to create a bit of a new design and try and incorporate some of the things we've learnt before. So let's quickly move it over to the shaded view so it doesn't keep rendering, and press F4 to bring these back. Now you might remember from previous episodes we made a tall turret kind of, not turret, tall tower kind of building, and today we're going to be kind of implementing that to this building and sort of trying to make this look a bit more of a use. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to go onto the sun tool. We're going to click on the cylinder, press 5, and we're going to select the lot. Going to go to top view and press G for grid again. Press W to make sure we're on the select tool, and we're going to drag this over to, let's say, I like here. So we're going to be cloning it to the element. So it's still, the element is the same object. If you put it as object, obviously it'll be 2. So you can see up here we're still called cylinder 1. In fact, what we can do is we can click it, press F2, and we can rename it something like hanger modules. Now, what you will also notice is we still can click on the original part or the new part, and we can still isolate it. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to isolate this one, and it will kind of zoom in, but it won't actually hide it. If you want it to hide the other one, you would have had to have separated them. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you how you can do that. So we've selected the whole thing by making sure I'm on element. I'm going to go down here, and on the right hand side there'll be a button that says detach. So we click that, we can detach it to its own object, and up here we can just hide it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the 4 tool. We're going to go into the we're going to go into the right view. So in order to do that we need to go up here and click on right, and we're going to draw a box like that, and we are then going to make sure that it's not selected on the other side. So we can just do a quick look around. There we go, perfect. Going back into the right view, press Z to centralize it. We can hit delete because we don't need those, and there you go, we can see we've got some edges. We can press grid to get rid of it. And we're going to leave it like that for now, and that will be easily explained. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to delete the original. I am going to click this again, press T, then G. We're going to move it over like we did before to there. Clone it to the element, press E, and we're going to go up here to align snap toggle, so it's just at the top. So what this will enable us to do is rotate it and snap it to a certain angle. So for example, we want it at 90 degrees, and you can see down here at the X, Y and Z, it will tell you at the exact angle, and we can move it over a little bit. So now you'll see both of them have a gap in between. We can go ahead and press G, and we're now going to work on bridging the two together so they've kind of got a wall between. So in order to do that, we're going to have to do a couple of changes here. First one is going to be pressing 5 and deleting this extra face here that we didn't get to delete before. This is because in order to bridge something we need there to be an open space. So now we've done that, we can press 2, select that line, and we can click bridge. Simple as that. We've now made a wall between that side. Select that, select that side, we can click bridge. We can also go ahead and click there and there, bridge that. Same over this side. Zoom out a bit there, and we can go over here. Just remember, if you're struggling to find where to click on, or your camera's going a bit weird, just press Z. It will align it to the whatever you've already selected. You can go ahead and select these two, and we can bridge those as well. And why not give ourselves a floor whilst we're at it. So you can see we currently now have a middle piece connecting the two. So now, if I go ahead and give that a little render, it won't look right at the moment, but you can kind of see that we're getting somewhere with our creation and you know, making something that might be useful. But what do I think needs to be added? Well, if you remember back when we did the buildings before, they had a window, you know, things to look through. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to select this face and the back face, and we've also selected the inner ones, which you can just see through there. Go to the front view, press Z to centralize. We're going to turn the grid back on because it's useful. Now, I'm going to use the slice plane tool, and I'm going to just drag it down. Let's see, I've got to rotate it. There we go, just rotate it by 90, press Z again, and we're going to make a quick boundary. So I think the window shouldn't be right to the top, so I'm going to click slice there, but at the bottom we're going to leave a smaller border. We're going to come off slice plane and pressing 4 to go back onto face. We're going to just deselect those faces we just created. So now we've got this, and the reason for that is because when we cut the windows, the lines for the windows going downwards, we don't need extra lines going along the bit where we're not going to have a window. So if you remember, there's two ways of doing it, but I'm going to go over them both. We can go back onto slice plane, rotate it around by 90, and you can see in the bottom on the Z axis, because that's what we're rotating it on when it gets to 90. And we're going to move it to, let's see, let's move it along to here. Going to click slice plane. We're going to click slice plane over here, and toggle it off, and once again we're going to deselect the two edges we created. That's because once again I don't want the windows being all the way over. Oh, and press Z. Now we're going to go on to the edge tool, and it will have already marked them out, so we're just going to deselect the middle ones, deselect those ones. Now what we should be able to do is we should be able to connect, and you'll see that it's going to draw a line. So we've got to decide how many windows we want, and I think that 13 will be a good number because it's going to kind of cut it in like that. But however, I'm going to put it down to say 6. Maybe a bit more. Let's go with 8. 8 looks like a good number. Then what we're going to do, we're going to centralize again. We're going to reselect the two outer ones, and we're going to use the nice chamfer tool. In fact, what we can do is we can also go ahead and select why is it not going to, oh, it has selected it. Okay. Same with that side. So we've currently got all of the window frames selected for both sides. We'll just select that one. There we go. Just to keep double checking to make sure you don't miss anything. We can turn the grid off and make it easier to see. And what we're now going to do is we're going to hit chamfer once again. Make sure it's going to work by lowering the number down. Now sometimes it won't work, for example now, and the best thing to just do is to just say, okay, if it's not going to work that way, then let's go ahead and, you know, deselect it all, and we'll just go with the horizontal lines for now. And you can see, there we go, that will work nicely. We'll just go 0.5. And then for the top bar, what we could say is, well, the bottom bit isn't needed and the top bit isn't needed. We can go for a full-on roof to floor, which I think will look quite nice. So once again, we can just go through and delete the actual window panes. The reason we're drawing a box rather than clicking is if we click, it's only going to be on the face we see. So the ones at the back side are not going to be unselected. So we're going to continue just drawing the box. And obviously, if you accidentally unselect something like there, you can just reselect it like that. There we go. Okay, so just continue going through until you've selected them all. Whoops. And there we go. So we've selected them all, and once again double check the other side. Go back to the front, and we're just going to hit delete. And there we go. Okay, so what now? Well, first of all, we don't have a little window sill for the window to sit on. It's just a thin wall. So we're going to press F. We're actually going to select every single part of this wall. Obviously unselect the face and double check around the back. There we go, that's why you don't want to double check. And we're going to hit extrude. Now, the problem with it hitting extrude is you have to set the right setting. For example, if I do by group, this one might go out. Or, sorry, sometimes it might indent. So the best way to do it is by going by local normal. And it's going to look at what's normally used in that area and go with the same thing. 1.5 looks good. So we're going to hit, whoops, only hit once. And we're now going to unselect, but we're just going to go and select each of the beams. In fact, I think I'm just going to be selecting those parts there. Simple. And when you're done with that, hit that. And every now and again, don't forget to just press Shift F3, give it a little look, see how it looks, see if it looks, you know, good enough for you. I quite like that. I think it looks quite cool. And obviously, you can work out what extra detail you might want to add. All right. So what now? Well, we got to kind of think how we can add a floor to the whole thing. So let's go back on shaded and hit F4, and we're just going to go underneath. Now, hopefully, what we should be able to do is by pressing 2. You'll notice there that this one is kind of split. So if I hit bridge now, it will work. Sorry, it won't work because, you know, all these edges currently have a face either side. A little way of cheating that sometimes works is if you click on this face that doesn't have edges, we can bring it out like this, and as long as the edge is open, we would be able to do that. So what we do, the way we can fix this is by hitting F4, sorry, 4. And we're going to go ahead and remove these bottom faces. Sorry about that. I ended up having a bit of a coughing fit. So you don't need the bottom faces. They're not going to be looked at. So we're just going to delete these ones for now. We're going to go back into the target world, and we're going to see if it works now. And you'll see it does. So that's great. I'm going to go over to the other side, and we're going to weld it. So at the moment, you know, it's not going to have all these points, but you know, at the end of the day, it works. So it's a good way of, you know, getting used to adding flooring without a lot of difficulty. Same with this side. So another way you can get rid of the edges is doing it like this. So if we do that, select that edge, get rid of that. Oh, wrong side. Okay, select them all, delete the faces, and when you look underneath, they'll all be selected. You can just go ahead and hit delete. And we can go back onto the target world. And there we go. And there we go. So now you can see it should fully have a floor, which if we have a look at now, it's going to obviously be dark because you know, the shadows are going through, and the ground is going to be that one colour.